Hello everyone and welcome to this lesson on business vocabulary in English. Welcome to all of our students who have joined. Thank you very much for coming to another lesson of ours. And I hope you're all ready for a long... Hello everyone, thank you very much for your messages. It's nice to see all of you too. I hope you are well. So, today, we're going to focus primarily on business vocabulary. We're going to do a quick recap on one of the previous lessons where we will talk about different subjects and I will see if you've remembered what we've learned. Then we'll go and talk about some really important verbs and adjectives for the workplace. So hopefully it will help you all. We have had a lesson on business vocabulary before. It's difficult to fit all the words that you need to know in one half an hour lesson. So we've created a second one to really help you speak clearly in your workplace. So that's the aim. Again, thank you very much for joining today. A quick message about our company. We're Cercle, we're based in Paris, and our aim is to help you learn English. If you have any questions, if you have trouble with pronouncing words, if you're not sure what a word means, please do write it on the chat or in the comments below, and we will get back to you. So, if you haven't already subscribed, please do. That's also below. Let's get started. So, what I would like to do is quickly ask some questions based on the lesson yesterday. One of the biggest mistakes that people make when they learn English is they can't decide whether to use do or whether to use make. So I have a couple of examples and I want to see or get your opinion on which one is the correct verb to use. So let's try one out. Let me write it in the chat so you can see as well. Do we do or do we make progress? So progress is when we become better at something. It means if there is a starting point and an end point, if we progress, it means we get closer to the end. Do progress, or do we say make progress? Okay, I'm going to wait for some answers. And right now I can't see anything on the chat, so I will give the answer. I do apologize, it's difficult for me to read the comment section, but we say to make progress. Progress, it's if we achieve something that it's difficult for me to see and read what is in the chat right now. Let's try another question and hopefully I'll be able to read your comments. The next word, or I should say words, are a list. Do we do a list? Supermarkets, when we go shopping, I take it with me, a piece of paper. Okay, so I just want to make sure that everyone can hear and understand. I'm just going to, I can't see what you are writing. I'm just going to check with one of my colleagues. Hear me. Okay, so I'll carry on the lesson. Hopefully you can hear me. I do apologize again for the difficulties. Let's talk about another suggestion here. So do we do or make homework? So we used this example yesterday. It's a very obvious action. It's a non-specific action. So can you remember if we use do or if we use make for homework? So again, remember it's not specific. What do you think? Do we use do or do we use make? So again, I do apologize. I'm unable to read what is being written in the chat, but the answer to this question is we do our homework, okay? We do chores, we can do the dishes, we can do simple tasks. So let's carry on. I'm now going to ask some questions based on business vocabulary. I hope that we're able to access the chat as I explain the rules and the vocabulary. It's really important to practice these words. So what I'm going to do is see if I can restart the chat. I apologize again if everyone's having difficulty. Okay, please give me 1 second while I try and access this. Okay, I can see everyone rising. I apologize again for that technical difficulty. It's always difficult to teach online. It's never easy. So let's go back to the lesson, and I do apologize again. So we're going to talk about business vocabulary now. My first question for you is to try and get you thinking about the different items that you use on a day-to-day basis. So let's go on and talk about some different words. So what I'm going to start with is just a little test. I'm going to give you a description for a job, and then I would like you to write that job down. For example, I could say, this person helps to educate people. They teach them vocabulary and grammar. They can teach people different subjects like English or French. The answer would obviously be a teacher. So many of you have written that down. That was an easy one, but I'm going to do my best to test you so it's harder. Okay, so my first suggestion is, okay, so this person, their place of work is in a court, and their job is to help people abide by the law. So perhaps this person or one person in the court has done something wrong. Maybe they have been driving too fast, or they've done something more serious. This person helps to alleviate their problems, helps to battle their case, helps. It's difficult to explain without saying one of the words in the occupation. But as you've all written down here, it's correct. A lawyer is someone who helps represent you in court. Fantastic. Elodie has written down a really interesting point here. She's written down attorney. Now, I believe, again, this is a difference between the English and the American. The two mean the same thing, but it's just two different words which we can use. Fantastic. Thank you. My next one, this profession helps you if you're feeling unwell. They work in a hospital, and you can give two answers for this, or you can list many people who do this job. They work in a hospital. Their job is to make you feel healthy and to provide healthcare. Right now, they're doing a fantastic job worldwide to protect the population, and I think we should all be grateful for their response and their work. And as all of you have mentioned, it is exactly that, a doctor, someone who works closely with you. I can see that we have some different vocabulary which has been used in the chat. So a doctor is in reference to someone who can help prescribe you medicine, can help diagnose a problem you have. It's similar to a nurse. And I also see surgeon written down. Now, a surgeon is someone who conducts an operation on you. It could be on your leg, it could be on an organ. So they have different roles. Okay, thank you very much for your contributions, and let's try and move on and talk about some more common vocabulary that's found in the workplace. So just a quick overview quickly. we're going to talk about some common objects, and I think it's really good to get everyone participating and everyone writing things down. I think it's really good that we do these exercises because even though it's easy, I think through everyone's suggestions, we can learn some new vocabulary, which is fantastic. So my next question is, what is something you find in an office beginning with T? So for example, I just had some tea, okay, TEA. That can be found in an office. Liliana has the same answer as me. So what else can we think of in an office that begins with T? Fantastic, Chloe George. Welcome to the lesson today. Table is fantastic. Another. Okay, am I back? Can you see me, everyone? Perfect. Okay, I do sincerely apologize for these difficulties. We've had a lot of them recently, and I think it must be the holiday tomorrow. I really do apologize. Thank you all for staying. I understand that this happens a lot, but we're doing our best to find a solution so that we can give a proper service to you all. So let's carry on. Let's move on to the vocabulary before I disappear again. So what I want to do is talk about specific vocabulary which can really help you in your business. So I am going to write down a word in the chat, and I would like you to use that word in a sentence for me. You can either talk about the description for the word. So, for example, we can say teach. If I wrote down teaching, okay, which is a verb, of course, we can say teaching, you help someone else improve in a certain field. Teaching is when you show someone how to do something and you give instructions. Okay, so let's try with the first word. And because we're talking about vocabulary, try and do your best to write some sentences and practice your English. So, negotiate. What do you think this word negotiate means? Can you write a sentence for me with negotiating? I'm just curious if the connection is still active. So can you write me a sentence with negotiate, please? What do you think negotiate means? Who can you negotiate? How can you negotiate? Try and write a sentence if you can to explain what this means. So let's have a look at some answers. Thank you very much. And I would just like to thank this every lesson and try fantastic. So it means that when we negotiate with someone, be convinced by something, I think is the verb you're looking for there. Make someone convinced, or we can say, Hamza, we try to convince people in order to get something which we want. That's another fantastic description. Written here, I would like to negotiate my salary this year. Fantastic. So again, there is an agreement which we need to discuss in order to achieve what we want. It's a fantastic point, Liliana. Thank you. Our student Chloe George has written, we negotiate a deal at work. Exactly. A deal, an agreement. You can discuss the different terms. We have many other fantastic through everyone's suggestions as we. If I wait for your suggestions and wait for your sentence, hear me? Let's go through some of the answers. The teenager negotiates with her parents to go out on Friday. Fantastic. I think I'm a little bit behind on the chat. I'm going to open it up again. So what do you think? How do you think you could explain collaborate? So what sentences can you think of for collaborate? So collaborate, I can help explain the word. It's when we work together, service, ready to teach. Let's have a look at some of the suggestions. They're starting to come through on my chat now. Elodie has written, I collaborate with my brother to buy a gift for my mother. That's a fantastic example. So in any given situation where you can work together, let's have a look at another example. Veronique here has written, you work with a team on a project. Exactly, just like my example of mine for the very formal. We often use it for collaborating in meetings. We collaborate with other people. We can collaborate with other companies. It's when you work together in order to achieve your goal and a better product. Reading through with someone else. I would just like to confirm if everyone can still hear me and understand. I apologize again. I sincerely apologize for the difficulties with connection. What does prioritize mean? So I apologize if everyone can see me now. I do not understand what is happening with the connection. It was the case last week and the week beforehand. Thank you all for your patience, and when the crisis is over, we're going to make sure that we have a stable connection so that these issues won't affect us. Thank you again for your patience, and I remind you in the future, if we do have issues online, we do our best to make sure that they're small and that we can restart as soon as possible. I apologize again for the difficulties. So let's have a look at prioritize and some of the sentences which you've written down. So prioritize, when you prioritize something, it means that you put it at the top of your list. It means that it's very important that you need to do this task. It's my priority to sort out the connection for YouTube after this lesson. So a priority is something really, really important. You may hear this word in a meeting. Perhaps your boss wants to prioritize one task and one address the agenda. Look at some of the sentences. Elodie has written, during the lockdown, I prioritize my health and the security of my family. That's a fantastic sentence, Elodie. Prioritizing the health and security of your family means that Elodie is really focused on safety and health. It comes above everything else. Nothing is more important than the safety of your family. Fantastic, Elodie. Chloe has written down, I prioritize my studies. That's fantastic, Chloe. I think when you prioritize your studies, you have to do that in order to succeed. Studying can be very hard, and if you prioritize friends over your studies, then you might not be able to achieve your goal and your studies. Thank you for your sentence. So if we have a look at some other examples, Liliana has written, I prioritize the money for essential needs. That's a really good point. I definitely try to prioritize my money for the essential things. So Elodie has a question here. Elodie has written, security or safety. What is the difference? So when you talk about security, you use this as a word to describe how safe something is. We can also use it to describe people. It's also a job. The security of this building is very strong. Okay, so security is often related more towards, more has a crime association. So perhaps we live in a building where lots of people try to enter and take our things. We can talk about security in this sense. When we talk about safety, it's more related to your health. We talk about health and safety. When I think of safety, I think about being on a building site, wearing a hard hat, wearing a yellow high-vis jacket, and staying safe. So security is more for being secure, putting your things in a safe, making sure there's no crimes or no one's trying to take your things. And safety is protecting yourself. So I hope that clears up the question, Elodie. My next word that I have is supervise. What does supervise mean? This is really important and we use it quite a lot in business. Perhaps you have a new client or someone new who has started in your company. What does it mean to supervise? Let's try and write some sentences. Hopefully there won't be any interruptions this time. So for example, when you supervise someone, it's to help them, it's to aid them. Perhaps you have more skills than this person who has just joined your company. Therefore, it's important to make sure that they understand what their responsibilities and requirements are for that job. So let's have a look at some suggestions on the chat. Elodie has written here, I supervise the operations of production. That's fantastic, Elodie. And yes, if Elodie is supervising operations, it means that she's helping other people. She is making sure that her job is running smoothly. It's her responsibility to make sure that this production and the operations behind this production is working correctly. Let's have a look at some other suggestions. Chloe here has written, my teacher supervises my homework. It's a great sentence, Chloe. I think an even better verb to use instead of supervise could be to check. It could be to check or to mark your homework. And you've written as well to pay attention to. That's a great point as well. When you supervise someone, it's important to focus on what they're doing. You really want to help them, and the way you can help them is by understanding their way of working. So let's have a look at another. The teacher supervises the student, which is the drive to work, the drive to go to work, to work really hard. You want your company to succeed. You want the best for everyone. If you're not very motivated, then you don't really mind. You're not too bothered. You might not try very hard. This is an important word. If you're in a managerial position, you could say, I want to motivate my team. I want to motivate my colleagues. Okay. So and a couple of ways you can motivate someone is by being positive, by showing encouragement. If I did these YouTube live lessons and I said, oh, that's not very good English, or that's not a good way to say it, that's not going to motivate you. And it could do the opposite. It could demotivate you. And I think it's very bad to do that to people. It's really important to be positive and to show encouragement so that they want to learn and they want to try hard. So let's look at some sentences here. Liliana has written, the machine was created to supervise people in the street. An excellent word used for supervise there, Liliana. If we have a look at a sentence with motivate now, Alessandro has written, I'm very motivated for this job. Fantastic. We talk about motivate. I'm very motivated. If you talk about yourself, who is motivated, we always add the D on the end. We say, I am motivated to do this. I am motivated to complete this task by the end of the day. It's a fantastic sentence, Alessandro. Make sure you add the D at the end of motivated, but really good. Elodie has written here, I motivate my husband to wake up earlier. Motivation can work in many ways. I think that's a fantastic sentence. Liliana has written, I like to motivate friends when they are down. That's really kind and generous of you, Liliana, and I'm sure you do a great job at motivating your friends. Thank you for your sentence. And yes, have a good day, Chloe. I've just seen your message. She's just written here, she wants to make people do things. You have to encourage good and encouraging words. So we're coming towards the end of the lesson. Before I leave, I again sincerely apologize for the difficulties. It means a lot that you all stay and you try hard in the lesson. We are doing our best to find a solution, but given the circumstances right now, it is difficult. But again, thank you all so much for joining in the lessons this week. As we know, tomorrow is a holiday, so unfortunately there's no online lessons, but I hope you have a lovely 3-day weekend, and I would love to hear what you get up to on Monday. I hope you all stay safe and have a good time with your family and friends. Thank you again for coming today, and I'll see you all soon. Thank you. Bye.